When I first started my business, I wanted nothing more than to just have things support the lifestyle that I wanted. I wanted freedom of time, freedom of location. I wanted a business that replaced the income that I was making in my corporate world. And as we grow and expand, our desires expand. And, we are literally limitless beings. And I believe that, and that we can have anything that we want. But I was just having a conversation earlier with somebody and, just noting something that I've noticed as a trend. And I don't want to actually make this wrong because I don't think there's anything wrong with evolving and changing as we grow. And, that's going to happen. But something that I had recognized just within myself as I got into business, when I first started, I wasn't like I was a coach, but I had not really been immersed in the coaching world per se. And the more and more I kind of got into this space and I saw what other people were doing, and not just coaches, I mean, definitely a lot of coaches, but online business in general, but I saw what other people were doing, I started to think, well, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. Like when I first started, I was really, yes, I was figuring things out. There was some wobbles, but I felt very strongly and was very convicted in like my belief system and what I was doing, and that it was on the right aligned path for me. And I was just following those things. And then it reached a certain point where it was like, if I want to actually have the life that I want, I need this, I need this, I need this, and oh, I need more money, I need this. And I really focused largely on chasing that money for wanting that financial stability. And I started to lose focus, not just of other things, but of what I actually wanted for myself when I first started out. And that was something that brought me joy, something that supported me living a life of joy, something you can't really see it behind me, but right now I'm in the US Virgin Islands and we moved here 10 years ago this month. Um, and I just wanted to live that life and enjoy it. And as I got further into my business, I started focusing really solely on financial growth. I did start to make more money. I made more money than I'd ever made in my life. I was making some months more in 1 month than I used to make in a year. Actually, double what I made in a year. I've made as much in 1 month as double what I made more than double, my first management job out of college. And then it was like, okay, what's the next milestone? What's the next milestone? And I wanted to keep growing, and I still want to make more money. I want to make more impact. I want to grow, but I got so focused on certain aspects of things. And this trend, coming back to that, something that I've noticed in other people is that as they grow in their businesses, lots of things are changing. And, I've definitely changed. I'm not the same person that I was when I first started. Um, but, from that external perspective as well. And I do think that as women, we start to kind of come back to ourselves, know ourselves more, and we maybe show up different. Inflammation goes down. Like there's going to be things that change. But what I saw was this trend of people just like me who wanted a certain life, wanted to manifest certain things, and you maybe wanted a lot of money, you wanted to make impact, but then have gotten so caught up in chasing the financial aspect of things that things like their relationships, their health, their weight, uh, have become like misaligned with what it is that they're actually building and what they actually wanted for themselves. So it's like you left your job, you left a successful career to create a business, to create that safety foundation that could carry you and to bring you more joy, to serve more people, to have more impact, to make more money doing things you love, but to have that freedom, really like freedom is the core of what so many of you wanted. And then you just like build this whole thing up around you where you feel trapped, and there's so much pressure to perform, to say the right things, to do the right things, to follow the right strategies, to just get there, to get to that point where you feel like it's enough, that it's good enough, that there is enough, that you're not lacking, that you feel that safety. And really that's what we want is, but it comes back to us, of course, our internal safety. But this trend that I've seen happening for a lot of people is that again, they're chasing one thing, but they're focusing on that one aspect. So it's like, okay, you want more money, you start chasing money and you start to see other aspects of your life fall away, or you start to build a lot of success and then you start to gain weight, you start to become more inflamed, or your relationships start to fall apart, you start to feel like people don't understand you more. And some aspects of that are actual growth, but it's not necessarily about the other people. It's not about, something's wrong with your health. It's that the underlying root things, the things that you were chasing, the freedom in the first place, that doesn't just come from a place to live. That doesn't just come from having a certain amount of money in your bank account. It doesn't come from all these different things. It comes back to you, knowing what you want. And so many of you, when you get to a certain point in your life, you want that freedom and you want things to look differently. And you have to look at yourself and say, like, 20, 30 years from now, is this how I want my life to look? And that's that same thing, that when you're chasing the wrong things in business, you start to see other problems happening. And it's not saying that every problem is ever going to go away, but what I see is people fixing things in silos, like fixing, okay, well, now my weight's ballooning, I need to do that, need to address my health. Oh, my relationship's in this shitter, or I leave my husband instead of, because it just feels easier than actually like looking at what's underneath that. But when people come into my world, I look at that 365-degree view, that not 365, 360-degree view of like the big picture, because the things that are not aligned in your life, they're all related to the same root causes. And when you just start treating the symptoms, like I want more money, my relationship isn't working, my health isn't where I want it, clients aren't coming in as easy as I want to, or I've built up this amazing business, but I'm just so fucking busy all the time and I don't know why. And sometimes it's hard to see where those things come into place, but it's almost always that you're chasing an outdated version of yourself. You are still aligning to old conditioning, to old paradigm, to old things in your life, and just fixing one thing at a time. But when you look at that whole vision of who am I at my core, what is it that I actually want? What do I want the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5, 10, 20 years of my life to actually look like? All across the board, you can build that and create that like paradigm level shift across all areas of your life and work, so that not only do you have joy, not only do you have money, not only do you have a great relationship, but that you can have it all concurrently at the same time. So I guess the point of this video is, just again, this trend that I've been seeing of, it's like, okay, the money is working, and I've seen it myself where the money was working, but then behind the scenes, my relationship wasn't where I wanted it to, or the money wasn't working, but my relationship was really good, or the money was working, but then I didn't feel safe in the place that I was in, and or I was living in paradise, but the money wasn't there. It was always like this one thing. And after 10 years of really like going through this journey like hardcore, I've been able to understand what those things are, not just for me, but for my clients and for the people that I have conversations with, and the interrelatedness of it all. And it comes back to you, your personal identity, your personal blueprint of what's actually meant for you. And when you can get all of those things into alignment, that's when more ease comes in. That's when you have the time and energy you want to live the life that you want, while also making money, while also having relationships that thrive, while also getting to go take the dance class, move to the place that you want to travel, whatever it is for you, the thing that you are not doing now for yourself, or that you put on that list to address later, you can address all of it at the same time, because it all comes back to the same thing. And if you want to talk more about that, I would love to have a conversation with you and invite you to book a call with me. You can send me a message on Facebook or LinkedIn, depending on where you're seeing this video. If it's on YouTube, there should be a link in the description for that. Also invite you to join me in my free community, the Unfiltered Collective, where we live life unfiltered AF, because that is how we're here to be. And the more we unfilter ourselves away from that conditioning, away from who it is that we have led ourselves to believe we needed to be our entire life, that's when things start to fall into place. And I will not tell you that it's always easy to get to that point, but that is how you get to ease, sustainable ease across all areas of your life, your work, your money, your clients, your business, your relationships, your lifestyle, all of it. So if you're wanting to go there and have those conversations, feel free to send me a message, join me in my free community, or just like the video, subscribe, because you're connecting with that energetically and just commanding that for yourself in that moment, saying, yes, I want this. Yes, I am ready for ease. Whatever it is that you want you can put it in the comments, but otherwise just say it to yourself, like, subscribe. You'll see more of these videos, and I will be back to talk to you in the next one.